Hello, hello, YouTube friends. It is Admiral Sarah, also known as Astro Coach Sarah, here for your weekly update, astrology, tarot, and otherwise. And we are in a mighty eclipse portal. Holy shit. How y'all doing? Because this shit's been crazy. So we had the solar eclipse on February 17th. It was indeed conjunct my sun, and I have felt it in good ways. So I was actually in a funk last week, just kind of going through it mentally and like, what do I do? How do I move forward? Things aren't going the direction I want them to go, but I don't know how to like redirect the ship. And part of that is like Mercury's in his pre-retrograde shadow. Um, and all of that. So I was like completely cognizant of that. Like I was in a total funk. And I do have an investment in an AI astrology app that I do consult for my own personal astrology. I don't use it for clients because I can interpret a client's chart objectively, but I cannot interpret my own chart objectively and see the things that the AI astrology can see. And it is programmed by an astrologer, and it's not just Chat GPT. Do not consult Chat GPT for astrology. Please don't do that. I've done it just to see what it would do, and it fucks up every time. It doesn't know certain transits, it doesn't know like the latest transits, it's not accurate. It can be accurate for some things, but like if you really want somebody like a for real look at your astrology, stop looking at this generic shit on YouTube, TikTok, or otherwise Chat GPT, all of that shit. I've learned in the last week just how garbage the generic stuff is. Um, I will share a story that I posted it on a couple of different places, but I'll share it here too. So Monday, February 23rd was Venus exalted in Pisces, trining Jupiter exalted in Cancer. And every astrologer was like, it's a beautiful day, da 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 da. And yes, that's a beautiful transit. They're both exalted. They're the benefics. They're trining each other. Hella supportive, hella beautiful energy, except for one problem. Venus was opposite my Saturn in Virgo. So, did I have a good day? Yes, but I was waiting for something and I like the delay was fucking annoying. So, and then I was like, because Venus was opposite my Saturn, it can make a difference. It was a subtle difference, but it was a noticeable in my world difference because had I known the delay was going to be what it was, I would have gotten more steps in. Because I'm like, I wouldn't have waited like 3 extra hours when I could have been outside getting my steps in or getting some other projects done or something like that. But I kept checking and checking and checking and couldn't get it done until later in the day. You know what I'm saying? Like, had I known, but this is Venus opposite my Saturn, like you were going to get the gratification, but it was going to be delayed. So this is why generic astrology is starting to piss me off that people buy into it. Same with generic tarot. Like, okay, yeah, they're accurate, but they're not going to tell you the shit you don't want to hear. Like, yes, Sarah, you're going to have a good day. Venus is exalted in Pisces, trining Jupiter exalted in Cancer. Yes, you're going to, but it's going to be delayed. Expect a delay because Venus is opposite your Saturn. Okay? Stop it. Stop looking at all this generic shit. Get yourself, invest yourself into a real astrologer who can look at your shit. And when you're having a bad day, like this is what you get if you do my astro coaching program. This is literally what you would get if you do my astro coaching program, which is a 4 month minimum contract program that I offer that's coaching, astrology, and helping you understand how your astrology actually works. I mean, I offer one-to-one readings for various things, but when you actually do coaching with me, it's different because then I get to kind of guide you through it and you get like message support and shit like that. This is what my original astrologer coach did for me, and it's how I learned and understood the patterns of how my chart worked with transiting astrology. Okay. So, anywho, that's my rant on generic astrology and generic tarot. Um, yes, this stuff is accurate. It's gonna, but most of that stuff, the generic astrology, the generic tarot, it's not gonna give you the confronting crap you don't want to hear. I'm going to do that. I'm going to confront you about it because astrology is not toxic positivity and everything's glorious and grand. Because let's just say yesterday, you're like Monday, February 23rd, you're like, fuck, I didn't have a good day. Um, Perhaps because your Saturn was in the mix of the Jupiter Venus trine, or your Mars was there, or your, I don't know, like something else was going on. Like I saw somebody yesterday who had a rough day because his moon is squaring Chiron. Like it's not always sunshine and rainbows just because there's a positive transit. Yes, there's a positive outcome, probably, but there may need to be some hurry up and wait. There may need to be some mental clearing on your end. Like, this is why you need like an astro coach to actually work with you on the astrology and what's happening. It's not sunshine rainbows. It's not positive all the time. Again, it could have positive outcomes if you do the work, but astrology is here to teach us and help us learn and help us evolve and help us alchemize and all of that stuff. But it's got to come with us being willing to do the work with the astrology. So there's that. So that's kind of my rant in this eclipse portal. I have more of them coming. I'm sorry to tell you, but I don't get to be nice anymore because what I can tell you is this last week has really shown me one thing. Solidifying my daily routine is necessary and I need to do it because I have a lot more commitments than normally have. Plus now I have the freedom and flexibility to go take care of business on my own. But in order to do that, I have to be able to carve out the hours that it'll take to go do the thing. And while I love having the freedom to take a bus and go take care of my own personal business instead of waiting for somebody to drive me to another town to take care of my business, I still have to have the time to do that. Now, what I love about it is that, like, I can do one thing a day at a time. So I don't have to go and do five places in one day. I was able to do one place one day, one place the next day, one place the next day, phone calls the following day, and all of that. So, anyway, all right, let's get into this. So this is the eclipse portal. It's fucking crazy. It's one of the craziest eclipse portals I have experienced, not just personally, but just holy crap. There's been a lot going on, especially with what's going on in Mexico. Leo King called it. So there's that. There is things going on in Mexico. You do kind of need to know what's going on in Mexico because eventually it could affect the US, could affect the US. Um, but here's the thing. Neptune in Aries is the illusion of war and the emotional manipulation of war, the emotional manipulation that we need to be at war. So just be careful. Also, AI is kind of getting dangerous at this point. Like, there's good AI, don't get me wrong. If you're paying for an AI platform, like literally investing money into an AI platform, that's one thing. But AI, like I have seen full TikTok accounts that are AI generated. There's no human behind them. It's just an AI account. Obviously, there's AI going on with news media. There's AI going on with music and the creative industry. There's AI everywhere. So you're kind of going to get to this point like, what the fuck do I believe? And God forbid you're still watching regular news media. I don't even know what to say. Turn that shit off. Get a weather app if you're only watching it for the weather. Um, because how do we even know what's real anymore? And that's where this is going to go. This is how you know social media is in its downfall because if we are seeing AI generated accounts, people are doing fake shit. Did anybody else see this woman who was giving a quote life hack or travel hack? And I can't even say, like, she was saying that you could like wash your undergarments in the hotel coffee maker. I never drink coffee in the hotel coffee maker anyway, because I hate Keurig coffee. I think it just tastes like shit. But now I'm never ever gonna drink hotel room Keurig coffee again. Uh, she's coming back and saying it was a joke, but and that she basically did it for clicks and views. Again, clickbait, rage bait, all of this fake out influencer shit. This is how social media is going to fall. This is how social media is going to fall because people are fucking tired of the outright gross rage bait, clickbait, like stupidity. Like that's fucking gross. I don't care if you were joking. That's disgusting. Um, so yeah, that's just gross. Anyway, I don't, like I said, I don't drink hotel room coffee anyway because it's all Keurigs now and I don't like Keurig coffee. It just doesn't brew a strong cup of coffee. I'll go downstairs and use the coffee maker downstairs. I usually have more creamer options down there. Not that I do creamer very often, but I do in a hotel. I mostly do protein coffee anyway at home, but anyway, so there's that. That's going to be the downfall of social media is influencers are being exposed for fakeness, for rage bait, clickbait, views, money, um, the creator fund, whatever, whatever, whatever. There are good influencers out there. There are good content creators out there. Please don't get me wrong, but a lot of these influencers are fucking disgusting. I had to block James Bola on TikTok. I literally cannot handle this dude eating himself to death. Like that's just absurd to me. Um, but like the dude consumes just too much calories. It's gross. It's disgusting. Has anybody else seen that guy? I hope he's okay, and I hope that he gets help. Um, so anywho, but there are good creators out there. Katie Vance Like's really good. I'm sure there's dirt on her too. Um, who else do I like? Ethan Bernard, he's pretty good. I feel for him. I wish that I could get him interested in getting an astrology reading. I think that would help him. So Ethan, if you just happen to be watching an astrology video, which I doubt that you are, um, but I would love to do your reading for you. Um, but he's been on a weight loss journey. He's been connected with Jocko Willink and doing stuff with that program, with the Discipline Equals Freedom program. So good for him. That's awesome. Love to see some of these bigger gamer guys making the turn to actually trying to work out, lose weight, eat healthy, all of the things. We need more of that. We need more men, especially our younger men who are gamers and whatever. Like, we need you to be the PC in your NPC life. Okay, this is why I'm directing my language towards gamers because we actually need these men to get some testosterone. Like we need to bring testosterone back. And we need men to go lift weights, lots of weights. That needs to be a trend. Can we trend that? Men who lift weights. And I'm not saying to get bulky, be bodybuilders. I don't even need you to do that. I don't need you to power lift. I need you to go lift heavy things and do hard things other than sitting your butt in a chair eating Doritos all day. Um, anyway, this is what I'm saying about this Neptune and Aries, Saturn, Neptune and Aries, Pluto and Aquarius, and eventually we're going to have Uranus and Gemini by the end of April. I don't think most people are ready for this energy because we're all so used to this cushy life that what happens when the cushion gets yanked out from under your ass and you plop your butt down on pins and needles, poking you in your ass, and you can't even do a squat to get up? Literally, people cannot do squats. People can't walk. People can't climb stairs. I don't need motivation to go work out. It's right in front of my face every time I turn around. I literally had somebody say to me, "Did you walk to the bus?" The block and a half. Yeah, I walked. She was mind blown. that I walked a block and a half. This wasn't a blindness thing. This was she couldn't believe I walked that distance, a block and a half. So this is what I mean. We're not ready for this energy, which means two things. One, a lot of people are going to be crying in their Cheerios, or a lot of people are going to get their fucking shit together because we need more people who are physically fit, mentally tough, and most people are not there. Most people are freaking out little in their little world, in their little brain. And look, I can look at people and be like, you have so much potential. But 90% of people do not want to do the level of work that it takes to actually step into their potential because it's not easy. And I have said it before, we're at the ick point of transformation. This is the point where people quit. They quit coaching, they quit therapy, they quit working out, they quit eating healthy because it's boring. They quit working out because it gets hard and it hurts. And believe me, I've been there too. But I just invite you to look around. I'm 47. I just turned 47. I feel like I've rounded a corner in the age. But um I really invite you to look around you and I want you to look at people who are younger than you. Like think of the state of your physical body. Okay? Look at the state of your physical body, and then I want you to look at somebody who's 5 or 10 years younger than you. I've been doing this since I was 35, so 12 years. I have been looking at the state of people who are younger than me. And then I look at the state of people who are older than me by like 5, 10, 20 years. I don't want to be like that. Do you want to be like that? Do you want to be immobile? Do you want to be crying because some 47-year-old walked a block and a half to the bus? I'm telling you, this energy is going to make or break a bunch of motherfuckers because so many people are looking for something else to blame or something else to identify with, that trauma bond with, and not take responsibility and accountability for their shit. I'm on one today. And I don't want to get off of one. I really want to be on this because y'all, I have in the last 15 years of my life, I have busted my ass to have my mental shit together, to keep my body in physical enough shape to be able to walk at least a mile a day, climb mountains, do scary hard shit because I didn't want to be in my late 40s into my 50s and not be able to move. Not an option. And I also didn't want to be that age and still hate myself or disrespect myself or make fun of myself or criticize myself because I was allowing everybody else to do it. Well, so and so thinks I'm stupid. So and so thinks I'm crazy. So and so thinks I'm insane. I didn't want to be like that. Was I in a mental funk last week? Yeah, but it wasn't like a spiral. It was more like, the fuck am I doing? And how do I make it go better? Because I believe in the work that I do. I know that the work that I do makes a difference for people, whether it's on here on the paid platform, the Waking Spirit Collective, or it's over on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I know it's making a difference for people. But how do I grow that? How do I make it even bigger and even better? Yes, there's the book, but how are people going to find out about the book? Anyway, so I have a lot of work to do. I have a lot of actual work to do. I'm really good at hanging out in the ethers and being like, oh yeah, I could do this, I could do this, but I'm not the one who executes action very easily. That's the consequence of being an air water person, is I don't have the earth and the fire to do the damn thing. and I have to really make an effort to do the damn thing. So, anyway, all right, second rant complete. So, in the middle of this portal, that Aquarius portal probably gave you some kind of shock, probably gave you some kind of a aha, something like that. And that is not done yet because we have Mars. If we're doing this from what, February 20, what is today, the 24th, so 25th through March 4th, I think, 3rd, which is the Virgo eclipse. Um, but on the 27th, which would be Friday, I don't know. This Mercury retrograde is going to piss me off because I have no sense of time. Okay, the 27th is Friday. So the 27th is when Mars will square Uranus at 27 degrees of Aquarius and Taurus. There's definitely going to be some shock, some craziness, but here's the caveat. Mercury stations retrograde on the 26th. So the day before Mars squares Uranus, Mercury is going to station retrograde. It's not the worst Mercury retrograde, but it is not going to be a very easy one. I don't think it's the worst one. I think the Scorpio retrograde at the end of last year was pretty fucking bad, but it's a Mercury retrograde nonetheless, and it's in Pisces, where Mercury is not good. Okay, Mercury doesn't do well in Pisces anyway. Now he's going to retrograde there. So here's my thoughts. And then Mars is going to square Uranus. So here's my thoughts. Number one, if you are sensory sensitive, meaning you get sensory overload, overstimulation, and you don't have ways, methods, skills, tools, coping things to regulate yourself, you are probably going to really struggle, if not like lose your mind, because I feel like this is going to be like such an intuitive conduit type of energy. And if you don't know how to interpret your clairs, meaning your clairaudience, your psychic hearing, your psychic vision, your psychic smell, your psychic taste, your psychic feel, your touch, all of those things. I don't remember all of the clair terms. But whatever, you understand what I'm saying. All of these psychic senses that are connected to your physical senses, if you're not good at managing them, at interpreting them, at coping with them, at regulating them, this is going to be a difficult Mercury retrograde. Very difficult one. Because your wires could get crossed. So you could be like sensing something, but you can't figure out which sense it's coming from. You could be misinterpreting, something could get misfired in the intuitive conduit process. Things like that. You also could just shut down and hide away because it's Pisces and Pisces tends to isolate. So if you're hermiting right now, stop it. And at the same time, hermit when necessary. There's a little bit of a balancing act there. But that being said, like that means that this Mars square Uranus could be a like misinterpreted situation. It could also be a big pop. It could be a big shock. It could be some crazy information that doesn't make any sense. Um, like we find out that the Keurig coffee lady was AI. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. I hope she was AI because that was fucking gross. We could find out that something important is AI. So, um, that's what makes this time and space so confusing is we literally, I mean, you kind of know if you're familiar with AI and how it works, but I would ponder the guess that 90% of people have no fucking clue how to notice if something is AI or not, meaning they're going to believe anything they see, which is scary. Unfortunately, or fortunately, there is at least 10% of people who know when they see something, they know how to look for AI, they know how to notice something is AI in writing, things like that. They know when something's AI. I can usually tell there's something in the way a screen reader reads something that sounds different. It sounds wonky. I'm like, okay, that was fucking AI. Or somebody did a voice dictate and they didn't go back and check their punctuation, which equally drives me insane. And that's kind of the problem with AI and text, talk to text. Um, you know, tools is that people don't go back and edit them and check the punctuation. And therefore, like when a screen reader reads it, it sounds stupid. And it literally makes people sound like they're ignorant. Um, so anyway, so okay, so Mercury retrograde 26th through March 20th. So the next 3 weeks is going to be wonky. It's going to be weird on your sensory system. Um, then we have the, again, Mars-Uranus square, but it's also going to reignite the eclipse because it's right on the same degree as the eclipse. So actually, I think it's within a degree of the eclipse because the square will happen at 27 and the eclipse was at 28. So it's within a degree, but it'll reactivate that part of your chart. So wherever you experienced stuff with Aquarius stuff last week, you're probably going to re-experience it as Mars comes through and reignites the shit. So, yay. um, anyway, okay, and then we have the Virgo lunar eclipse. This is the second to last Virgo eclipse. We have one more next year, but this is the second to last one. This one's at 12 degrees. So if you've got a lot of Virgo placements, you're probably sick and tired of Virgo eclipses right now. I would be. But this one, let me pull up the chart. We'll take a look at it real quick before we jump into some tarot and journaling and things like that. One sec. All right, here we go. Hold on. What's the problem? There we go. Trying to get accessibility to work. All right. Tuesday, March 3rd at 5:36 a.m. Central Time, so just for your time zone. Moon is at 12 degrees of Virgo within 4 degrees of the South Node in Virgo. And we have, of course, the Sun at 12 degrees Pisces, the North Node at 8 degrees Pisces. We have Mercury retrograde at 20. Venus is at 26 Pisces, but we got Mars at 0 Pisces. We've got a lot of Pisces opposite that eclipse. So, what do Pisces and Virgo rule? Anybody? Bueller? Pisces rules the feet, Virgo rules the gut and the nervous system, among other things. Those are just the basics to understand this. Pisces rules the feet, but it also rules like duality, so the spiritual and the physical, but it reminds you to be grounded, that you're meant to be human, but you're meant to be spiritual and human, right? So there's like the ego versus the higher self type of thing. It's also, um, I'm trying to think of a way to put this in like gamer or sci-fi type things. I'll think of something. Um, excuse me. Anywho, so we got a lot of Pisces going on. So it's going to feel really floaty. It's also an opportunity to pay attention to your health, your physical health, your digestive system. I have been noticing more and more people talking more about, easing into more meat and fruit and less vegetables. However, you do want to make sure that you're pooping regularly because Virgo rules the digestive system. So if you are pooping any less than once a day, there is something not right with your diet. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. I do not know how people go more than a day without pooping. I really don't understand that. But anywho, um, it's a thing. Uh, we also have this thing in a trine with Jupiter. Um, or at least the sun's in a trine with Jupiter. I guess the moon would be in a sextile with Jupiter. But Jupiter's retrograde in Cancer. Um, it's kind of about nurturing your potentially even nurturing your mother wound, your nurturing wound, how you were nurtured, how you were or were not nurtured. It's a lot of healing around that and letting some shit go. Again, this is kind of Pisces' last hurrah before we jump into more fire and air energy. Pisces is ending. and grief and letting go. And this is kind of like um the last of that. I mean, we're still going to continue to have Pisces energy because the moon will move through it and obviously the personal planets. But as far as like big, bulky Pisces Virgo, like this, we don't have another Pisces eclipse. We're done with those, but we have Virgo eclipses, and Virgo is earth and practical and details and productivity. And yes, it's control freak. Yes, it's mentally constipated because it needs to know all of the things before it'll take action. But there's also something practical about it. It's also like work routines, daily routines. This being on the South Node, we could see more job situations, jobs ending, jobs changing, companies implementing more streamlines, so things like AI, or other computer generated things, meaning less jobs. So there's that. There's what are we doing to nurture children? Cancer is children. Well, it's being maternal and it's being nurturing. What are we doing to nurture and help and be motherly to children? There's a lot of talk about that going on right now with those file drops, right? But look closer to home. What are you doing to nurture your inner child, your wounded child? But also, are you able to take time to nurture your inner child, but still remain in an adult space, like an adult, mature social situation? Um, it's so yeah, there's a lot of like again, and I kind of talked about this sometime last year when the Venus, Saturn, and the North Node were conjunct at like what was it, 25, 26 Pisces. Um, that you had to let go of the good in order to have the great. But I think we're kind of in this space of there's such contrast between humans right now. Like you got humans who don't even know the concept of take responsibility or take accountability or don't set deadlines because I work better when I don't have them. But we have to set deadlines and we have to have responsibility. We have to have accountability. And you need to get up at a decent hour and get decent sleep, whatever that looks like, and have the rest time because your nervous system needs it, and you need to figure out how to get that rest, whether that is peppermint tea, valerian root tea, um, then or it's you need to get appropriate body movement and exercise in order to sleep well. That sort of thing. Maybe you're caffeine sensitive, maybe you're sugar sensitive, and you're consuming too much sugar, so your body can't calm down. Maybe you're consuming too much fake sugar, chemical sugar, and your body can't calm down. Splenda equal the zitherol, all of that shit. That's just chemical sugar. Um, I also noticed certain things that I can't eat anymore, and part of this is just keeping up with my workouts and things like that. Like my body's just craving more meats, particularly red meat. Um, so I'm having to keep up on that. But yeah, and there's also some flow state to this because in order to be productive, you kind of have to you need to kind of reprioritize what's important. Like, I love my podcast. I love listening to Andy Frisella's podcast. I listen to it every episode. I love listening to Molly McCord. But do I always have time to do that when I need to be focused on my own work? No. Does that suck? Yes. Am I episodes behind on 911 and other shows I would like to be watching? Yes. And like taking the time to sit down and do that is like not kind of a priority right now. And if they're not there by the time I have time to sit and do that, that's okay. I really want to watch The Pit with Noah Wiley. Because I watched Noah Wiley when he was in ER and I loved it. And I really want to watch him in The Pit. And I started watching 911 last year and I stopped watching it in December because I caught up and now have more episodes I need to go watch. But, you know, it, My point is like you got to get right with your priorities. And if your priority is to have a better routine, then you're going to need to make some sacrifices and change some things in order to have that happen. And I feel like this Virgo eclipse, and if you haven't completed the work by the next Virgo eclipse, which is in February of 27, that one may be a lot harder because that's what the universe does is it makes it harder every time you don't listen. So be attentive to that. There's something about this Mercury retrograde that kind of has us in a flow state, has us in a creative state, and I think it's important that we take advantage of being in that creative state, um, because the world's going to be a shit show, like a big time shit show. But if you focus too much of your attention on that, like know what the fuck is going on so you know whether you need to take action in your own geographic region, but don't be so inundated by it that you're not working on yourself. Again, turn off the fucking news. But be aware that this world's getting serious very quickly and that you may need more support or help than you're aware of. It's been multiple conversations I have had with friends lately about what I need to do in order to protect myself now that I live in a city again. And it's not a joke. So, um, I think there could be some information, but I think that if there is more information disclosed, that it's going to be very unclear. It's going to be very muddy, and yet people are still probably going to believe it, even if it's just something completely stupid. But it also could be something that awakens more people than just us 10%. Um, that could be good too. That would feed into that Pisces part of the eclipse, um, which would be good if we woke more people up to the fact that, with the file drop and that people don't need to follow the leader, that they need to be their own leader. All right, had to sneeze. Um, I think that it's a lot about taking responsibility. It's a lot about people need to grow the fuck up, and realize that, yeah, like we're really in a funky place and time where it's definitely time to take responsibility. It's time to grow the fuck up. It's time to, be the leader of your own life. It's time to be accountable. And I'm definitely not perfect. So believe me when I tell you that I'm in this with you. Because I'm dealing with my own shortcomings. I'm like the worst at routines. And I've been getting nudged by it lately, probably because my Saturn opposes all this Pisces shit. Um, so yeah, let's see what's up with the tarot for the lunar eclipse in Virgo. We'll do three cards. I got the Angel Tarot. Um, I don't know. I think a lot of people are not prepared. They're not ready. They're pussyfooting around. And just, assuming that everything's going to be just fine. And I don't think it's going to be fine. I think that things are going to think things are going to change more rapidly than people are ready for, and how the domino effect of certain changes will affect people. And I'm not saying this just about, like, I think people don't realize the domino effect that, like, let's just take, I don't know, like this like we'll take disability housing, for example, people who live in housing that's accommodating to disabilities. If that program disappears because, whatever, I don't think people realize that that means that you're going to have to be responsible for a family member that you probably didn't even know existed. Like, let's just say it's Uncle Larry, and you didn't realize that mom and dad have been, or aunt and uncle have been paying for Uncle Larry to stay in this housing situation this whole time, and you were completely unaware of it. But now mom and dad are too old, and you have to be the next of kin to be responsible for Uncle Larry. And you're like, wait, what the fuck? That's the kind of shit I'm talking about is that if certain independent living services go away, like what are people going to do when they have to take care of the family member that's in those situations? Now, admittedly, like some people will be fine, but I'm saying like people don't realize what they're asking for when they want these structures to just bloop, be gone. That being said, I think it's going to happen faster than people think it will. And I don't think everyone's prepared for that. So make sure that you've got yourself a decent support network so that you don't get out on your ass. We got the Queen of Air. I believe air is unicorns. And the words on the card, independent, um, experienced, realistic, and witty. Huh. Is this my description? Um, objective decision making, uh, clearing away all that no longer serves, yes. And the seeing the humor in a situation. Yeah. So you got to be able to, I mean, this Mercury retrograde is going to make us all feel a little nutty. So you're going to have to just embrace it and be like, oh shit, did I really like lose track of time? Did I really forget what time zone I'm in? Did I, da 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 da. So we're all going to have to get a little bit comical with our mistakes, and like Virgos need to laugh more, right? And let it go. It's okay. It's not the end of the world that you fucked up the thing. Um, then we also got the Ace of Air. Okay. Look at that. Hold on. Sorry. That's pretty. Um, let's see. Brilliant new brilliant new ideas and inspiration. Um, seeing the seeing the truth of a situation, a challenging beginning. I think this is pretty accurate because yes, we have um the newness of Saturn and Neptune in Aries, but then we're gonna have this Mercury retrograde, so it's gonna feel like, what the fuck? Why am I not moving forward? On the other hand, some people may thrive during this Mercury retrograde because I do have clients who do thrive during Mercury retrogrades. So there's that. But this one may be a different type of situation. But the Ace of Air, yeah, you're going to have some great ideas, but you're going to have to be with your intuition, and be with your, like, this lunar eclipse could bring new ideas. And there's a Mercury Cazimi shortly after it, we'll talk about next week. But there are possibilities of intuitive inspiration. But are you going to be able to sit yourself down and turn your devices off long enough to sit with it and be with that so you're open to that? Like, I don't think most people can do that. Can they? I don't know. And then we also got number 10, which is the wheel. I love this card. Archangel Michael. Archangel Michael is a good source to call upon. Um, a time of positive change, a situation suddenly moves forward, and fortune is on your side. Yeah, absolutely. So what I'll say about all of this is, hold on one second. Lock. Okay. What I'll say about all of these cards and the astrology and everything else is like there is move forward momentum. It may feel sluggish, but like, and the thing is that you've got to be open to it could happen like that. It could happen like that. It could happen like that. And it may not go the way you think it's going to go. It's going to maybe go a different way. But this is where being open to the flow of the universe is going to be super helpful and actually be more grounding than if you try to make it go your nitpicky way, South Node Virgo, your nitpicky way, that could actually fuck you over in the end if you try to have it go your nitpicky way. Know as much as you can know, but this is where Virgo is going to get in really big trouble because so many Virgos can't take action until they know all of the details, but you may not get all of the details. You may just have to go with the flow. And that's really difficult if you are somebody who normally has to have all of that. So, anywho, all right, journaling things. It really isn't a prompt. It's more about getting quiet. It's practicing Vipassana or silent meditation time. Start off with 3 minutes, go to 5 minutes, go to 10 minutes. I've done as much as 30 minutes. But just sitting quietly, sitting still, sitting quietly for Vipassana, silent meditation, super beneficial. Get quiet, have a notebook handy, write things down, um, all of those sorts of things. And don't be afraid to go with the flow if something feels super aligned and it makes your body feel good. Like that's another part about all of this. I don't think enough people are enough in tune with their body to actually like be able to really use this energy because they're so focused on how it's all gonna flow that they're not focused on the intuitive part of it. So anywho, silent meditation, journaling, all of those sorts of things. Focus on being creative, focus on having fun. It's all going to be okay. But is it going to be a rough road for a lot of people who can't take responsibility, accountability, go to the gym and lift weights? Yes, 100%. So take responsibility, be accountable, go to the gym and lift weights. That's what I have. All right, I'll talk to you guys next week. Take care. Make sure you say rabbit, rabbit on the first, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye.